a scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken. Eyes gouged from bloody sockets. Flesh burned black.
Please. You wait for death. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here.
This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Tonight is April 19th, 2009.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up?
How's it going, everybody?
This is Jay Scott.
This is D. Clements.
Big D.
Big D.
And Trent's not going to be with us tonight, nor is Chuck. Chuck's wedding anniversary is today, I believe.
That's right. Big 1 year anniversary.
Big 1 year, yeah. So anyway.
After you've had about 10 like myself, they kind of lose their...
Oh, come on now. Anyway. Tonight we have Jason Offutt with us, author of the book Haunted Missouri, and he's also going to talk about his new book that's coming out soon, which yours truly is going to have a blurb on the back of again. I love getting book blurbs. It makes me feel special and famous. So, but anyway,
is that famous by proxy?
It is. So we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We love having Jason on. If this is the first time you've heard him, please go to his website, www.jasonoffutt.com. That's spelled O-F-F-U-T-T. And check it out, or go to our website, worldoftheunexplained.com, and you can click to a link that'll take you right to it. So without further ado, Mr. Jason Offutt, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic, and it's great to be on the show again.
Yeah, great to have you back, man. Our phone lines are broken tonight again, though. So
why did this happen with me? Is it me?
No, it's the phone company. They really suck.
We have a bad phone provider.
We do. It's terrible. I wish I could get someone else, but I'm just kind of
things
stuck.
are going to get better with you saying they suck over.
I don't care. They're not in Phoenix, so at least I hope not. Maybe they are.
Chuck's got an anniversary. You were right about wedding anniversaries. My wife and I have been married. It'll be 7 years in a few months. But our last wedding anniversary, we were sitting in church, and it's just weird. We both kind of looked over at each other and whispered, "Is today our anniversary?"
Oh my gosh!
Hey,
that is a complete get out of jail free card.
I bet. Don't feel bad. My 11th anniversary is coming up soon. So
you see, we're in the South. Everyone marries at like 20 here. So for D to be 33, or are you 34 yet? No, you're 33.
No, I'm 33.
He's only 14.
But at 33 to have the 10th wedding anniversary coming up, I mean, that tells you, welcome to the South.
What can I say?
Yeah, I understand. But and my first one will be coming up here in May. So
that's right.
There we go.
You're going to put back on the old...
the kilt. Yeah, man. Put back the kilt and break out the dram. Well, man, tell me about your old book. Obviously, we want to hear for the people that aren't familiar with it. But tell us about your newest one, and when's that coming out?
It is. I'm actually going to get the very first copies off the press. They've been UPS to me, and I should have them in my hands on Monday.
Okay, now what are you sending me? Are you sending me the whole book?
I'm planning on it.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, I sent you a few chapters.
Okay,
I was planning on having the publisher send you a book.
Okay, well, I didn't get the chapters. So this is the time to tell you about that, right? Live.
Okay, yeah. We need to talk about all this stuff that the audience doesn't care about. Yeah.
But anyway, tell us about the new book. This is on the Shadow People, right?
Right. The book is going to be on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Should be by May 1st.
Awesome.
It's called Darkness Walks.
Okay.
And it's about the shadow people phenomenon.
Very cool. Very cool.
I have been interested in shadow people for a heck of a long time. I don't like to think of myself as one of those people who sees a lot of strange things. I have seen a few strange things in my life, but shadow people are one of the first that I ever saw, and it really stuck with me because I was a little kid, and I saw these looming, darker than night, black human-shaped shadows walking through my room, and wet the bed a lot. Who wants to get up? I didn't want to get up. I wanted to pull the covers over my head.
Well, kids see the darndest things, though, Jason. I mean, how do you know that this was a real thing and not just something in your imagination?
Well, and in my preface to the book, that's one of the things that I do mention, that kids see a lot of things. I'm sure I saw what I saw, but
Okay.
Is it me looking back through 8, 9-year-old eyes? But I'm positive at that age that's what I thought I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Listeners, you can email us your questions for Jason at worldoftheunexplained@gmail.com if you'd like to do that. I know it's not as much fun. But I'll give you his home number before the end of the show, and you can call him. No, I'm kidding. You can call him directly and talk to him. No, but just send us an email if you have any questions for Jason Offutt. Once again, that is www.jasonoffutt.com, OFFUTT, and you can check out some of the other stuff. Now, you've got a blog up there, too, right?
Yeah, I've got, you know what? I haven't got my webmaster to put a link to my paranormal blog up.
What?
So if people go there, they're going to get a hold of my humor blog.
Well, that's funny, actually. I read some of that on the air quite a few weeks ago when you weren't even on with us. We were talking about it and just brought it up.
Oh, it's terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We were the Scooby-Doo one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's a good one.
But there's some good stuff on there. Now, what's your blog site?
It's the URL. I don't know why I let this happen, but it's difficult. So if you go to Google and type in "From the Shadows" and then my name, Jason Offutt, you'll get it.
It's like from-the-shadows.
It's like from-the-shadows.blogspot.com.
Okay, there we go. So
yeah, I let blogger.com pick it for me, and this is what the computer does. I guess so.
Yeah, well. Now, tell me, you've also got something interesting going on with a time machine experiment. Can we talk about that now?
Yes, absolutely, because I have it in my hands.
Okay, all right. Well, explain to the listeners what this time machine is that you have.
Well, it all has to. I'll have to explain. This is going back over a year. I teach journalism at a university in Missouri, Northwest Missouri State University, and I'm friends with a couple of physics professors. And it's really kind of cool living in a town. It's kind of a small town, about 14,000 people, where you can just go to the bar and hang out with a couple of physicists.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But they're interested in ghosts and the paranormal, and we got to talking about time travel, and I brought up a guy named Stephen L. Gibbs, who has been on the. He's been on a lot of talk shows. There's been magazine and newspaper articles written about him. He claimed that back in the 80s, himself from the future came back to the 80s and gave him plans to build a time machine. And since then, he was a farmer in Nebraska.
Ah.
Since that time, he's been building these machines in his kitchen, garage, basement, something. He was living with his mom for a while.
No, I wonder why.
And he's been selling these things. He lives in Linden, Kansas now, but in a trailer, somebody told me. But
oh, cool.
Anyway, he's selling these things, and
at least he's out on his own now, though.
Do what?
I said, at least he's out on his own now, though.
Oh, exactly. I mean, good for him. Yeah, and one of my physicist friends said, we should buy one. You could, play with it, and we could tear it apart. Yeah. And find out exactly what it does and write a paper on it.
Sure. Now this is, for those of you that have never seen the film Napoleon Dynamite, or have seen the film Napoleon Dynamite, even better, this is the same machine, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's got the coils wrapped around the head. It's got the electromagnet you put between your legs, and yeah.
Now,
little hole to put crystals in, stuff like that.
Now, what's this device sell for retail?
It costs like $350.
Okay, $350.
I got mine pretty cheap. I got mine for $260.
Oh, you got a deal. How did you get how'd you get it for $260?
Well, it come to find out, this guy's really paranoid.
Okay.
And when he found out that I was a journalist, he really didn't want to have much to do with me.
So you pulled a fast one on him.
Yeah, I know a guy who bought one from him.
Okay.
So I had the guy buy one from him for me.
Now, you work for a state university?
Yes.
And you got this money to buy this how?
Those lovely grants, man. Come on.
So taxpayers paid for this.
So we paid for it.
Awesome. Now let's hear how.
Compared to the $1 trillion bailout.
Well, no, I'm just happy that I'm just happy that this money is being spent for something that I find interesting and fun.
Yeah, well, yeah, at least it's fun, and we didn't, create this company that failed, and we got money to keep it going.
Finally, a conservative college professor.
Yeah.
Give him a hand, guys.
Yeah, I'm now on faculty senate by default, and there was some issue that came up about conceal and carry, and I was the lone dissenting vote.
That said it was a great idea.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I don't either. The more the merrier. Hey.
Anyway, but that has nothing to do with time travel.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, so we got this grant, and finally we were able to get the time machine, and yes, it is the same thing as Napoleon Dynamite. As I was unpacking it, the department engineer, I work in the mass comm department, he was in my office with me because he thinks it's hilarious. As soon as I opened the box, it didn't have packing peanuts. It was packed with Target bags.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, and I opened it up, and he was like, you got all that stuff at Radio Shack. But we plugged everything in. We followed the directions, and do you know what it's like sitting with coils around your head that electricity is running through, and a powerful electromagnet stuck in your crotch?
You're not planning on having any more kids, are you?
This plate on this machine that has a crystal in it.
Did you video this? Because I need to see it.
Actually, I should have sent you pictures. I've got still pictures. we got pictures.
Please send those to us. We'll post them on our site.
I'll have to do that. Yeah, the one thing, after I was finished with it, the engineer who's 28, he was using it. We got him hooked up, and he was trying to go back to 1975, and he looked at me and he goes, I should probably be worried with this strong electromagnet stuck next to the boys. Yeah, I've got that taken care of because I've got 4 kids, so I really have nothing to worry about.
Well, you never know.
I mean, out there who haven't had a vasectomy, they make you very brave.
Well, you can always go back in time and not do that again.
Well, yeah.
No. There's some limits on this. So there's a limit on how far you can go back, right?
Yeah, you can't go. The farther you try to go back, the less chance you have of going there. If you want to go back a few years, that's fine. According to the directions, you'll probably make it. Go forward a few years, it's fine. You'll probably make it. You can't go to 2012. The instructions say.
Ooh.
Doesn't say why.
I was going to say, why not?
You just can't. Yeah.
And what really ticked me off is you can't go back to the 80s.
Oh, man.
Exactly, man.
I wanted to go see Back to the Future in the theaters.
I saw it in the theaters. It was great.
Well, I didn't. That's one thing I missed out on.
Well, buy you a surround sound set up and a big screen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of fond of the 75 to go back and see Star Wars.
Oh, 77.
Oh, 77, sorry.
So you,
That's okay. You can see Jaws if you go back to 75.
That's right, 75.
Oh, so you can go back to 75, but you can't go back to the 80s?
Right.
Why?
It doesn't say. Or it might. It's just the fact that all the instructions are written in all caps. And I can't really read them that well.
Now, are the instructions handwritten or are they typed?
No, they're typed.
Oh, that's good.
They're typed.
How big of an instruction manual is this?
Oh, it's about 8 pages, but the last 4 or 5 pages are a catalog of him trying to sell stuff.
What else is he selling?
Videos on how to use.
Oh, man, that's so sweet, dude. You've got to get one.
I I don't know if I want to. One of the greatest things, however, that it says on the instruction book is there's this little well you're supposed to drop this energized quartz crystal into. But you're supposed to do something else before you put the crystal in. I guess this is to personalize it for you. You're supposed to lick a piece of paper and put it in the hole. But the instructions say specifically, do not use blood because that can draw demons.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow.
Well, and you've got to pray, too, and be of good heart, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to pray and bring in the white light energy in order to use this thing.
Well,
nobody in the physics department's going to pass.
As I was going to say, I mean, you're sending it to the wrong place, man.
Yeah.
You need to send it down to, like, Bible studies or something like that, your divinity school or whatever y'all got there.
No, that's one of the caveats of this is you can't go back to do something wrong.
Yeah, well...
It won't let you.
That's why you can't go back to the 80s.
If you were with back in the day, it's not going to let you go.
That's why you can't go back to the 80s, man.
Because nothing good happened then, except in world politics.
Yeah, exactly. We had Ronald Reagan.
Exactly.
But see, would it be bad to go back and buy some stock, say, in like Microsoft when they were first getting started? Would that be a bad thing?
No, it wouldn't be a bad thing at all.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, that deals with all sorts of weird stuff about when you go back and do something like that, it changes the timeline to the extent that you've created another parallel universe, basically.
As long as it benefits me in the end, I'm all right with it.
He's okay with that. He's on board.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, realistically, when we watch Napoleon Dynamite, they're breaking the rules, man. He wanted to go back to the 80s to be this big, his uncle wanted to be that big football star.
Football star, yeah.
That was in the 80s, the glory days.
Yeah, he wanted to do that. A guy I wrote a story about at one point wanted to get the lottery numbers. Nobody wants to go kill Hitler. What the hell's wrong with you people?
I don't know. Well, that's I don't know. I don't think they can go back that far, though, can they?
Well, the guy said it's over 100 years is kind of iffy.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably can't go back and see the crucifixion of Christ.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird, though, wouldn't it? You go back and Jesus goes, "Hey,
get out of here.
You're not supposed to be here.
You're not supposed to be here. You don't get to see this."
Yeah. Or what do you do? I mean, eating popcorn, going, "Hey,
yeah, hey, got the foam, you got the foam finger, woo!"
Number one, saving me, Lord, thank you.
Yeah. Having one of those caps with the hoses on, with the 2 cans of wine or something. Yeah.
God. All right, let's get off this.
Yeah, sorry.
But so you used it, and obviously it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. I was really a little disappointed because one of the things the instructions told me was after you finished using it, 9 hours later, you might disappear. And 9 hours later, I woke up and I was still where I was. I guess I could have time traveled in my sleep.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you have any vivid dreams afterwards?
No, I didn't, but seriously, I felt kind of lightheaded for a few hours. It could have been all that electricity running around my head. I don't know.
Or your crotch.
Or my crotch, yeah, one of the two.
That is awesome. So,
but I was thinking about this, though, about traveling in time when you're stationary, because the Earth is not stationary.
It rotates.
It's revolving and it's rotating. It's going around the sun. The sun, our entire galaxy is moving with. Our entire solar system is moving with the galaxy. I figured out that if I set it for like an hour, and I would, an hour in the future, I would end up in the middle of the Great Salt Lake. 10 years in the future, I would be completely screwed. I would be in the vacuum of space.
That's why you have to pray really hard when you use this machine.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah.
Or maybe you should just put somebody in one of the little lab rolly chairs and just give them a shove as they go.
What, with an intern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
A grad student. Yeah, you'll get your grad degree if you just got to do this. Okay?
We don't care about your dissertation, doctor. Get in the chair. So what? Now let me tell you what is the physics department done with this thing now? Have they took it apart?
No, they have it in their hands, and they're. I haven't heard back from them yet. It's going to be finals week next week, so they're probably waiting until summer break.
Yeah, well, give them something fun to do in the summertime.
Yeah.
Travel through time a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and one of the other fun, I was going to say one of the funny things, but one of the other funny things is the instructions say you've got dials to set the month, day, and time that you want to go back to or forward to. There's 2 dials.
What?
And they both go to 10. I really don't know how that works.
That's why you got to buy the video.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
They both go to 10.
Maybe the physics
11.
department
Oh,
could
10.
maybe they could work on changing out the dials for you.
There you go. Crank it into March, and they both go to 10.
Now, I don't really mean to poke fun at this.
I do, but
I've actually talked to a couple of people. Actually, not talked to them, but exchanged emails with them who bought these machines and have claimed to have gone back and forth in time. One guy says he went to a parallel universe where Al Gore was president.
Oh man, give me his number for the show.
Yeah,
we'll invite him on.
I'll never use that machine again. I do not want to go there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still mad at the fact that he won what was it?
I don't know though. Maybe if he had
Pulitzer?
won then, though, we wouldn't have had Obama now. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You can't really speculate on that. But hey, we've only got 3.5 more years.
Oh come on, they're going to give him 2 terms.
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So tell us. So tell us about the experimentation with this machine. Didn't last very long, and I assume.
No, we just used it for the allotted amount of time. We had to let it warm up for 3 minutes, and then rub our finger on the little plate while we were, letting that electricity do whatever it was to our brain.
I have one question. Like when you first were sitting in the chair or whatever, and they clicked it on, did it make that little like boom? Because that right there, I would have been out of the chair.
Yeah, no, it made a little bit of a hum, but only the device I was holding on my crotch.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's change channels here. That was a lot of fun though. It was like you should write an article about that. Put it on your blog or something, or have you?
Well, no, I have written an article. I haven't put it up on the blog yet, but I'm waiting for this fall. I have successfully got a class on the schedule for this fall, a one-time only class called Paranormal Journalism.
Awesome.
Cool.
Where I'm going to teach students basic reporting skills and basically how to report on paranormal stories because the mainstream press doesn't do it very well.
Sure.
So we're gonna work on that, and we're gonna I'll probably have to fill out some paperwork, and kids will have to sign some waivers before they turn the time machine on. But we're gonna play with that some.
The at your own risk.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's probably written like if you're going parachuting for the first time, the waiver you have to sign says "You may die" in big friendly letters.
Well, I would think though, as part of the class that allowed them to do that you would be not only inclined, but it would probably, just to meet the standard safety specifications, you would probably actually have to actually get the video.
Maybe you really want me to get that video, right?
Just to indicate how it's properly used.
Right. Well, actually, there are a couple on YouTube.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
One on YouTube is great. This guy holds an electric watch on the electromagnet.
Jason,
he turns the machine on, and the dial starts spinning.
I've got to go here. We got a hard break here in 5 seconds. You're listening to World of the Unexplained. We'll talk about this more with Jay Scott and Jason Offutt's our guest tonight. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back to World of the Unexplained. Tonight we have author Jason Offutt with us tonight. Unfortunately, our phone lines are still down. We're having problems with our phone provider fixing our phone lines.
They suck.
And if you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to ask Jason tonight, you can email us at our Gmail account. That's worldtheunexplained@gmail.com.
And if you want to contact Jason directly, you can probably do so from his website, I assume.
Yeah, or happily give out my email address.
Okay, go for it.
It's Jason Offutt. That's JASONOFFUTT @hotmail.com. And if you have any questions, comments, or you've got a paranormal story you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it.
Cool. Because you're still compiling.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell us about your newest book.
My newest book, which comes out in early May, is called Darkness Walks: Shadow People Among Us. I've been writing my blog from the shadows for, it's been about 2 years now. And after the first couple of stories I wrote about shadow people, I started getting comment after comment after comment about shadow people telling me their stories. And I got so many comments from so many different places on the globe that it was almost a book in itself right there. Because I got stories from not just the U.S., but Japan, Canada, Portugal, Great Britain, South Africa, Australia, and lots of other places. So the shadow people are not, some urban legend, something confined to some specific geographic area. They're everywhere. And there are people, all these people who've been emailing me over the last couple of years have been asking the same question: what are they?
Now, where's the majority of these stories come from? Is it the United States?
Most of them have come from the U.S.
Okay.
Yes, I've had a number. Probably Great Britain's been the second most.
But no. Do you talk about where? Do you come up with a way to say, okay, these are the origins of these things? I've found it out. Here's the deal, or do you just put forth different hypotheses?
Well, one of the first things I wanted to do is, because I've read a couple of articles people have written about shadow people, and they've been, the only word I can think of to use is flaky. They haven't used, in any sort of research, any sort of. I'm a longtime journalist. They haven't used any of the tenets of journalism in trying to find out answers. They've just spouted hypotheses without backup. So what I wanted to do with this book is to explore everything not only I could think of, but people I talked to could think of, explanations as to what they were, and then ask the experts what they were. And I've talked with exorcists. I've talked with Christian theologians. I've talked with experts in Hinduism and Islam. I've spoken with.
You talk to the terrorists?
Huh?
You talk to the terrorists?
They're not terrorists.
Sorry, I had to go there.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
I've talked to an expert in Buddhism. I spoke with an American Indian shaman about these things. Psychologists, physicists,
anybody in
chemists. All sort of behavioral psychologists, all sorts of different people who might have some insight as to what these things are. I also, of course, had to interview psychics and people in the metaphysic realm, to cover all my bases. But one of the
what does that mean?
Well, that was my question. I was wondering if he had actually talked to any metaphysicists about it.
Yes. I actually one of my chapters is called "The Metaphysics of Shadow People."
Well, now, one of the big things that we hear about most of the time is that the shadow people are actually other people from another dimension trying to come in to our space, time, and reality. That's one of the ones that here on the show we've heard a lot of as far as for the explanation for the shadow people as well. And then you've got, Jay's...
You know my interpretation of it, demons, but go ahead. Where did the Christian theologians fit in there?
Demons.
Yeah, cool. I'm right.
Period. Right then.
That's it.
That's
I got it.
Well, see, and then like I said, you've got the more scientific people that are trying to explain that it's other people from other dimensions trying to come into our realm or space.
But they're just demons masking themselves as other people from other dimensions trying to. Anyway.
Or aliens.
It's like the aliens. They're demons too.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
Well, the physicist that I talked to, one of the things we broke down is the behavior of the shadow people, about not just them walking. I mean, all sorts of explanations can be given about people seeing them walk through a room.
Sure.
But the fact that these things interact with people, that they seem a lot of times to have depth, that if people have touched them, they've felt a searing cold in their hand. These things will also walk through walls, open doors, things of that nature, turn TVs on and off.
Yeah, we actually had a listener that called in one time to tell us about.
God, that was great.
He unfortunately was sexually assaulted by
a shadow
person.
And like every night or something for
like 2 weeks or something. He was sodomized by this
shadow person
or whatever.
Yeah.
I do have an account in the book of a woman who claims to have been raped by.
Oh no, this was a guy.
Yeah, this was a gentleman though.
I think he's actually in the Phoenix listening area as well. But it was there you go. Buy Jason's book. Learn how to protect yourself. Don't get sodomized at night by a shadow person.
Now, my only question is,
Sleep on your back.
That's right.
Sleep on you. My only question is that do these shadow people or beings do they attach themselves to particular people or places?
The thing with doing the research for this book is a lot of answers. If you
bring up more questions.
Sorry?
I said more answers bring up more questions.
Well, that's how it is in life. I'm married. That's how it is every day.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. But it's the answers that I will give to questions that have multiple answers is yes and no. Because there are so many explanations and so many different types of shadow people, so many different behaviors that they've exhibited, that yes, they can be one thing, but they can all possibly also be another. Yes, they, this type acts demonic, but this type doesn't.
So I think it's safe to say that your book is kind of a breakthrough, just because there's really not a lot of material out there that really puts it all together.
Because you hear stories
right. Well, the foreword's by Brad Steiger. I'm sure a lot of people in the listening audience know who he is, and that's one of the things that he pointed out in his foreword is that this book is the first of its kind on shadow people, looking into the different realms of what are these things, and finding so many different explanations for them.
Oh, Brad wrote your foreword. Huh. That's awesome.
Now, in the research that you have done, or the information that you have compiled about these shadow people, is there a particular way to say, like Scott was saying earlier, fend yourself from them, or say get them to leave you? Do you just simply turn to it and say, "Go away, leave me alone," or is there a particular type of ritual or something that you have to do?
Well, there have been. I've got a chapter on how to defend yourself from these, and basically they come from people who have successfly driven them away. Some have been as simple as saying, leave me the hell alone. Others have been. One was a guy who had studied jiu-jitsu.
Oh, cool.
And he'd woken up, and this thing was on top of him, and it wouldn't let him breathe, and he swung through the thing and punched all the way through the drywall.
Ow.
Ouch.
And it's just the violent act of swinging his arm in retaliation through this thing made it disappear, and he never encountered it again. One of the things that a lot of people have done that has seemed to work is invoke the name of Christ.
There you go, proof that it's demons. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so some people, singing, just singing and being appearing happy has driven these things away.
So sing Thriller or any Michael Jackson song. You'll be.
I was gonna say I can understand that with all the stuff that happened. People that come on American Idol. See how singing could drive away some demons
lot of people
or whatever else.
Yeah, their singing has driven me away. I don't watch that show.
I don't watch it either. But so you've definitely got a breakthrough book then that's probably going to be on everybody's shelf, man. This is possibly maybe the biggest seller that you have.
I'm hoping.
Well, I'm not saying ever, but I'm just saying with the research being what it is, you may actually have a cornerstone of something that your book will get referenced more times than not.
Well, one of the things that I hoped to do when I was writing this book is just to get beyond, because I know there is one book out there, and I know there's another one being written, and they were written by psychics. And I don't necessarily mean to be disparaging psychics, because I've talked to a couple of people who've purported to be psychics who've told me things that there's no way in the hell that they could know.
Sure.
Period. About me. So in the psychic realm, there is something going on, but most of the other psychics I've dealt with have been full of crap.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah, so the books written on these things by psychics, I'm really hesitant to put any credence in whatsoever. I tackled this like a journalist. I looked for the facts that were available and just presented them to the reader as what they were. This is what this person said. This is what this exorcist said. This is what this physicist said. This is what this American Indian shaman said about what these entities are. You make up your mind.
What did the shaman say?
That's the one I'd really find really interesting to see what the Native Americans' viewpoint is.
Well, the guy I spoke with was a full-blood Cherokee, and they have in their culture this type of being. What this type of being is basically a medicine man gone bad. All sorts of, and they hate using the term medicine because medicine only does good.
Okay.
And when a medicine man starts to turn bad, they start to use their medicine for selfish reasons.
Sure.
And when they eventually turn into this huge shadow-like demonic being, is when they've used their medicine for bad so much they've erased humanity from themselves. They look human. This guy said you could run into one at Walmart and not know, not know that it was this Native American witch that you were running into. But at night, and when they project themselves into other people's lives, they are these towering, awkward, evil, demonic shadow entities.
So basically, they're using a form of astral projection to do it.
No, they're solid.
No.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, during times of war, these medicine men could turn themselves into all sorts of different types of animals or warriors to do good for their tribe, but these, the medicine men gone bad use it for an evil type of thing, and then they get projected as shadow people.
No, I'm sure part of this turning into other animals requires one large amount of peyote smoking. That's part of the ritual. Sorry.
Come on.
Well, and the thing I found interesting is not just the Native Americans, but the Hindus have these shadow beings in their mythology. Not mythology, I shouldn't say that. Their culture.
Okay.
As with Islam, as with Buddhism, they all have this. I didn't ask shadow people when I talked to all these experts. I described the entities.
I see.
Oh, I gotcha.
And they told me that yeah, we've got this entity. The Buddhists didn't want to talk about it.
Whoa.
And, they're all selfish Buddhists. Yeah. They're about themselves.
Well, they said yes, we have these dark, shadowy beings, but let's talk about what's good in the world. Let's not talk about them.
So I guess that's the short chapter.
Well, now also they're not just typically like human-sized beings as well. They can be other things like animals or like dog-like creatures as well. Correct?
Correct. Mostly in my research, I found they've appeared as cats.
Oh, really?
Which kind of makes sense
Sure.
to me.
I don't like cats either.
No, neither do I. But the most frightening entity encounter of an animal was that of a dog. A woman she was like 8 months pregnant at the time. Ooh. Her and her husband were living in an old house. Their bedroom was on the second floor, and she'd walk down this long hallway to the bathroom. And she was sitting on the toilet. The door was open, and the toilet faced the hallway, this long hallway. And she said, what looked like 2 red Christmas lights placed like eyes would be on a dog, about the same height a dog's eyes would be. Mm. And she stared at it and knew it wasn't an illusion. She knew it wasn't coming from outside the window. She knew it was in the hallway, and then it started to come closer and closer and closer until she screamed bloody murder, and her husband turned the light on, and the thing disappeared.
See, that's always my question as well. I understand, when you're in your own home, you don't always turn your lights on and stuff, but when I think I see something weird or creepy out of the corner
of my eye,
I turn my lights on.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And they're, bye-bye shadows if there's nothing to cause it.
In a lot of cases, people who see these shadow beings, when they turn their lights on, they report that, boom, they're gone.
Oh, well, there you go. There's see, there's
an upside to having a nightlight.
Did you, Jason? Did you ever see that movie? I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's about this guy who's afraid of the dark because he's afraid of the tooth fairy. Darkness Falls. That's the name of it.
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh man, you need to watch it. It's a great movie. It's one of those B films they made years ago. But it's the tooth fairy is basically this lady that was the tooth fairy that they burned at the stake or something like that. It was really nasty death for being a witch. Yeah. And she's come back, and only if the kid sees her, then she comes after him, tries to kill him. But if you don't see her, you're fine. She takes your tooth, gets your money, all that. Well, anyway, this guy saw her as a kid, and I think it ended up killing his mother or something. So she's hunted him ever since. So he like travels everywhere he goes with like tons and tons of flashlights. He can't get away from the flashlight thing. And it's just a really good movie though. But he has to keep the light on or stay in the light. That's the only way you survive.
All right, Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls. Great film.
I'll have to look that up.
Check it out. You'll like it. Any of you guys listening, check it out. You'll like it. JasonOffutt.com. That's OFFUTT. And you can check out his blog. Go to Google and type in, what was it again?
From the Shadows, and then my name, Jason Offutt.
And you'll get his blog. And you can find some interesting stuff out. Now, where's the best place people can go to get this new book when it comes out next month?
Just check Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. It'll also be at Anomalist.com. It's being published by Anomalist Books.
Okay. And this is just softcover only?
Yes.
Okay. When's the hardcover coming out? 25th anniversary edition?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Now, do you think that this book may lead into maybe a sequel, like, maybe 5 years down the road, you'll find some more stuff out and be able to have even more documentation?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm still getting shadow people reports. One of the things that I would need to do to write another book is not just to have a bunch of shadow people stories. That's not what I wanted to do.
No, sure, I understand.
I wanted to answer questions.
Yeah. And
a lot of other questions would have to be posed before I would, really be able to dig into another book. One of the books that I'm batting around right now is on black-eyed kids.
On what?
Are you familiar with these?
No, I've never heard of that.
They're usually children's, either small or up to late teens, maybe early 20s. They're usually very articulate, maybe dress a little either old-fashioned or the younger ones dress in hoodies. They are very insistent when they knock on your door to come into your house. Or if they knock on your car window, they insist on you taking them somewhere.
Oh, wonderful.
And two of the things that you notice are, one, you're scared as hell, and two, that their eyes are completely black.
Oh, dude, that's creepy.
Well, yeah, I know. It's really creepy. You've got no iris, you've got no white. It's just black.
Oh,
man.
I've gotten quite a few stories about those. The one stumbling point about me actually pursuing that book is my wife doesn't want me to.
I can understand.
It's probably like all the stuff you write.
Ghosts are one thing. I don't want you to bring that creepy crap into my house.
Yeah, man, that's just weird.
That's all you need to do is really scare your kids before they go to bed.
Now, are these? There's documented stories, I'm sure. Are there any pictures of any of these?
No.
Okay, I didn't figure as much. Same way with the shadow people. I don't suppose there's any pictures laying around.
I've seen a couple. I haven't been really convinced.
I got you.
Just like Bigfoot, I've seen a couple pictures. I haven't really been convinced.
But see, that
D in a gorilla suit.
How would you get a picture of a shadow person? Because if you turn the lights on, they leave. You take a picture with a camera, the flash goes off. Of course, they're going to be gone.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
One woman I did talk to was in an old folks' home. It wasn't in operation anymore, and it was supposed to be haunted. Her and her group were investigating it, and she was in this hallway. It was pretty well lit because of all the windows, and she saw a shadow person peel itself from the wall. She said it's like one of those, you had as a kid. You'd have those stick-on books.
No.
Yeah, it's like two-dimensional like that. And she shined her flashlight on it, and it hit its arm. And she said the thing looked at its arm and then ran away. And she said it looked like the thing was injured because of the light hitting its arm.
Well, Jason, thanks so much for being on our show tonight. We're down to the last part. This is Jay Scott. Hang tight with us on the line, Jason. We'll talk in a second. Jay Scott, you're only JDDJ on the OmniSound, KFNX. News Talk 1100. Good night.